Hello everyone. Today is Friday, October 4th, 2024 at 5:55 a.m. in the morning. Excuse me, I know it's very early. I had to get up and push myself to do this video, so because I said I was gonna planning to work on a lot of writing this weekend, the stalkers hit me with direct energy weapons and caused me sleep deprivation almost all night. Then I didn't get to finally fall asleep until after 5 o'clock this morning. And when I finally did get to sleep, I ended up dealing with dream manipulation. I did not get to sleep at all until after 5 o'clock. And I think I was experiencing a little bit of mild acid reflux as well. Excuse me. So this really set me back from what I wanted to accomplish. Excuse me. So and then I was itching all night, but there are no signs of any bed bugs or anything like that. Well, it doesn't seem like it, but I was itching all night and all morning long. And so I'm itching all over for whatever reason. And a couple of the Uber rides that I rode in, the seats were very, like the last Uber ride, the seats were very dirty. And when I rode the bus, was when I started itching. Just like a few nights ago or something. But I've been itching all over, but no evidence of any bed bugs or anything. But this is why I keep the lavender oil soap. You know. So, and I got new clothes and stuff. Well, I mean, not much, but a little bit of amount of new clothes. Excuse me. But excuse me. So I was kept awake all night and forced sleep deprived. And then after 5 o'clock, I finally fell asleep. And I had this weird nightmare about, being confronted by the family again. The mentally slow, crazy biological family. And I ended up by the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder's house in the dream. And in the dream, I was at her house last week when they forced urinated me in the bed at a different hotel. And they nearly succeeded this time. But I'm glad I was able to wake up in time, and they nearly succeeded at force urinating me. Well, they tried twice to force urinate me in my, even the bathroom trip before that, I almost didn't make it. Excuse me. So, but I did not mess up the bed or anything like that. Once I tried to get to the bathroom, I was able to make it on time to the toilet. But they nearly they nearly succeeded. Excuse me, with force urinating me. So in the dream, after dealing with the biological family members, because I was upset and depressed last night, all day yesterday about how I was treated. And then excuse me. And then after having a bad dream about being at the foster mom's house or up in that neighborhood, I think it was the same dream, and I somehow ended up at some fake Christian cult based homeless shelter. In the dream, I was getting kicked out and wrongfully banned from the shelter. And it was one man from the shelter that was trying to do the right Christian thing. But, in the dream, he was trying to do the right Christian thing and trying to beg me to stay, And another one was being abusive, cold-hearted, and narcissistic, and actually dialed the phone and called the police on me. He kept making multiple threats, and he did pick up the phone and call the police on me. And after he called the police on me and tried to kick me out, that's when I had to use the bathroom really bad in the dream. And people were, and yeah, when it's like the shelter staff in the dream try to play the gang stalking tactic of when the police when targeted individuals talk about when a tactic of gang stalking is playing good cop, bad cop, So that's how the shelter staff were operating with me. How the police play good cop, bad cop when one of them called the police on me. And, but the police didn't come. But they left me in fear, and in a dream I had nowhere to go. Excuse me. And then, the man who kicked me out and called the police on me, showed by in a white delivery kind of truck. And, and had his elbow out of the window and rubbing it in my face. And I was like, no way in hell could this be a so-called Christian-based homeless shelter. And then by now I forgot every detail in the dream. Excuse me, but I made sure to try to tell it before I forgot. And I don't remember what the other details. But in the dream, it seemed like I was physically flying or like jogging in the air in the dream. After, the biological family kicked me out of the foster mom's house in the dream. Excuse me. No, a lot of biological family members, they never set foot. See, the back of my head is itching. They never set foot. I was not intentionally trying to do one-eye symbolism. I'm scratching my head. But but yeah. So that was like a more gang stalking dream manipulation, and where the stalkers were keeping me up all night or forced awake all night. And then when they finally let me sleep, it's a gang stalking dream manipulation kind of nightmare that's traumatizing. Or I wake up upset, or my anxiety really high and stuff like that. So but so I'm still too tired and too sleepy. Breakfast just started, but I'm too tired to even go downstairs, and definitely need sleep. And like the fake Darnell Williams perp was harassing me under the fake name Seal Hater. and YouTube was not deleting his comments, but one of his fake channels harassing me got completely and permanently terminated. Excuse me. Before I can go and find the account and go block him, and then he commented under one of my supportive subscribers' comments and try to make it like as if I'm evil and no good, and try to harass me about not going to see my brother Wyatt's resting place. And he's like, oh well, he's buried next to your mom. I bet you didn't know that, huh? You know, and it's like, well, you're not authorized to know my family business before I do. But I'm wrongfully kicked out of and banned from the family. And him and people associated with the fake aggressive Defiance TV perp were making fake harassing troll comments on my brother Wyatt's obituary. And I didn't even really know about it. Or there was this other obituary that they were referring to that I didn't even see. And I was falsely accused of being the one to put up troll comments. And the family wrongfully banned me and wants to fight me. Wrongfully banned me and bullied and threatened me to not go to the funeral. and they wanted to murder me. They wanted to kill me. You know, and so now, you know, the fake Darnell Williams perp is one of the main causes of my twin sister helping to work with the family to have me bully me and abuse me and have me wrongfully banned from the funeral. You know, and now the fake Darnell Williams perp is harassing me, talk about when you're going to pay your respects to your brother and this and that or whatever. And then he was like, oh, with those Uber rides, how much did you tip? Or how much did you tip for those Uber rides in those restaurants and this and that, whatever. When I'm just about broke now and have almost nothing left. And, I mean, you got me wrong. You helped to get me wrongfully banned from the funeral by pretending to be me and making harassing comments. And now you're taunting and harassing me about and trying to make like I'm no good for not going to visit Wyatt's gravesite. When you helped to cause me to be wrongfully banned from the funeral. And me dealing with the targeting and the grief and depression and everything like that. I haven't had and then me dealing with being homeless and stuff. I hadn't had the opportunity to do it. But who knows? I might be wrongfully permanently banned from the grave site. They probably called up the cemetery to have me wrongfully banned and make sure I'm not allowed to go there. Or they might have for me to be heavily gang stalked on the way visiting, the grave sites. Or the cemetery or whatever. So, and then my younger brother Derek's, the youngest, his wife, wanted to be the big main ringleader to make sure I don't get to go to the funeral. She didn't have, that was not her place or authority or the right to do that to me. And Mark should not have had the fake authority to make the decision to wrongfully ban me from the funeral. And they all falsely accused me of doing stuff I didn't do. So if they admit that they stalk and watch all of my videos like they say, how come they don't step in and defend me? And they sit there and watch me to be targeted and trafficked and sitting back and doing nothing. And I've been wrongfully banned from the family since before I became homeless. Wrongfully, like they made a secret pact behind my back for me to be wrongfully kicked out of and banned from the family because my twin sister told them so many lies. I got family members that hate me and want nothing to do with me and don't get to know me. Don't care to get to know me because my twin sister told them so many lies. And she knows what it's like to be shunned by the family. But then it's like she doesn't like it, or she can't handle it when the family shun her, or when she gets banned from the family, off the family, the entire family is mad at her and want to fight her. But the family should have got mad and wanted to fight her for voluntarily throwing the kids away. And when I talk about when she can lie on me and say I molested Raven and did XYZ to the kids, but then when I say you voluntarily gave up your doggone kids for that lifestyle with people like Tiara and stuff, or, the women before Tiara I'm talking about, to live this lifestyle. Now she want to talk about, oh, what the F you said about my kids. How you going to get mad at me for your own decisions? The family did not disown her for voluntarily giving up the doggone kids. And then she waited till after Wyatt died to blame Wyatt. Excuse me. She waited till after he died, and the family didn't call that disrespectful. Or she didn't show that. Because, after Wyatt died, she made up a lie on me and said that I was exploiting Wyatt's death for money when she know damn well she blood sacrificed him. And then our birthday came and I didn't have any contact with her on our birthday. And then 2 days later, she tried to talk about, oh, I tried to get in contact with Candy, but the bitch won't, and then she kept calling me schizophrenic and calling me a bitch. But then in that live stream, when I confronted her directly and told her she was a gang stalker, and I exposed the truth about her, and she exposed herself with things, excuse me, and then she got mad and lied to the family, and having the family to want to fight me. And the stuff that all these messy people try to say, I didn't know what to believe. And I thought they were just being messy and trolling and goofing around and lying. On our birthday, which was the day after Wyatt passed away, that fake perp named Shanta had tried to lie to me and say that Wyatt's death was a hoax. And then I heard multiple different versions of the story of how he supposedly died, and nobody and the family feel like I don't deserve to know the truth. But you think the fake Darnell Williams perp deserves to know the truth? When my twin sister and none of the family members, if they've been stalking and watching all my videos and all my activity, how did they sit there and watch him threaten me with death and they didn't step in and defend me? None of my family care about me, and I've been saying this before Wyatt died. And my twin sister was trying to perform the narcissistic tactic of trying to love bomb and hoover me back in. She was trying to love bomb and hoover me back in, and the tactics didn't work. So she made more fake smear campaigns about me because she was trying to lure me to bait me in and lure me to come stay by her so she could trick me and then set me up. And I didn't fall for it, so she created a bunch of freaking mess and trouble and lies. That, and then she tried to threaten me. And I thought of a memory back in 2020 when that Darius guy told me over the phone that my twin sister said in one of her videos about me, that my twin sister said, all I know is you're dead to me. So, one thing with dealing with narcissistic abuse is when they poke and prod and antagonize and provoke so much that when the victim fires back and says something out of frustration and anger, the narc likes to manipulate their flying monkeys to falsely believe that the victim has done or said the most heinous and unforgivable thing. Excuse me. And they over exaggerate that person's so-called wrong. You know, when the victim is upset, you know, when the victim is upset and say something or does something out of frustration and the so-called reactive abuse, that's when the narcissist and their flying monkeys will try to falsely make it like you did or said something that's so disgraceful and unforgivable, when they don't tell that they manipulated, antagonized, and poked and pried and provoked you repeatedly to the point of torture and push you to that point and push you over the edge to do or say certain things, you know, out of frustration. You know, and my twin sister, you know, she was trying to butter me up and love bomb me and trying to manipulate for me to come by her, and people were warning me to not go by her and telling me that she was trying to sacrifice me or that she wanted to sacrifice me. And then next thing you know, Wyatt turns up dead. I got wrongfully kicked out of and banned. I mean, I'm sorry, that my words didn't come out right. I got wrongfully kicked out of the Airbnb. I mean, or was not welcome, you know, but I didn't know until I got there, because I thought it was just the online stalkers trolling and creating false rumors, but I had no idea that the whole family was mad at me. I mean, the ebooks that I wrote, that was like freaking few years ago. They act like I just wrote it up yesterday. You know, but Wyatt knew about the ebooks and confronted me about them, and he didn't seem like he was mad, but he said, "Oh, Derek and certain family members wanted to sue me." But Wyatt was trying to kiss up to me and butter me up too in 2022. You know, but it's like I didn't write any ebooks about Derek. You know. So why would he want to sue me or be mad or them talking about? So I couldn't find out the stalkers got that information wrong. It wasn't Derek, but it was his wife, that fake illegal wife, that you know, that wanted to have words with me, and Derek acted like he didn't have anything to say. If you're a satanic sellout and you manipulate your children to perp your sister, and you care nothing about your sister and you want your sister dead, and I don't even barely know this brother Derek. I don't know Derek that well. Derek is like a damn stranger to me. I don't know much about Derek. I don't know much about Derek for that to be my brother. And he been hating my guts and avoiding me for years. In the encounters that I had with him, he was always mean and abusive. Derek never loved me. He was never nice to me. He never did shit for me. Never cared about me. Never spent time with me, really. Always abusive and very wanting to control everything. And Derek sold his soul to the devil, but I'm the only dysfunctional family member. The only one dysfunctional family member. But he sold his soul to the devil him and the wife and my twin sister and whoever else got the freaking children to participate in perping, mocking and perping me. Wyatt's death was all about mocking and perping and gang stalking me. And because of me being wrongfully banned from the funeral and not being allowed to be there, you know, it seemed like I'm finding myself in more denial. Like it really doesn't seem real. And I didn't get to, say the last goodbyes or anything like that. I mean, I don't even know what would have happened if I would. I mean, because they had perps. They pretended to fake harass my twin sister, which was street theater, and they posted up the address next door to where they actually were. And then my twin sister posted up videos of, of that Airbnb. I knew nothing about the arrangements or anything. I wasn't even trying to spend the night, but my twin sister and Derek, they falsely accused me of trying to freeload and spend the night for free and stuff like that when, I try to just go over and visit the family and try to have, some closure and try to go to the funeral the next day. Excuse me. But they created a bunch of false narratives and lies and wrong assumptions about me. And Derek's illegal wife tried to, bully me to an apology and I said I'm not going to apologize for things that I did not do that I'm falsely accused of. And then they kept threatening me. And it's like, when I would talk about this in my live streams, the fake Darnell Williams perp would keep lagging the live stream, and my so-called viewers would keep ignoring me. And, they would keep ignoring me repeatedly every time I try to talk about this. Like as if they don't even care. And I'm still hurting, and everything is still fresh in my mind. Still trying to psychologically, mentally, and emotionally process everything that they've been mocking my death before Wyatt passed away. Excuse me. And for my twin sister to tell people not to help me, and then she created. She must have thought about that lie for a long time. That she tried to lie, make her lies sound believable. When she tried to lie and say that, I've been wanting you to come stay by me, and the reason why I thought you were a scammer and a fraud because you could have come stay by me, and you decided to stay on the streets, and that's not even how it happened. She lied. She lied just to look good. And she's trying to make me look bad to cover up her dirt and cover her tracks, because she know what she did. And she buttered Wyatt up and got Wyatt to go against me and then set him up to be sacrificed. And it seems like as if she did it for revenge. If she, the fact that she lied on him and said that he was the one who set her up to get the kids taken away. So, but then, for her to feel like, Wyatt set me up to get the kids taken away and this and that, whatever. Well, if she felt that way, she tried to be like, that her and Wyatt and Derek can settle their differences and forgive each other and this and that. But for me to publicly say on social media that my family is gang stalkers, y'all really feel like that's unforgivable. in which y'all, I got proof and evidence that y'all are perps. And Derek's wife or whoever in the family had, like, when I went by the Airbnb, they had one of those type of blue Chevy trucks. I think it was a Chevy Tahoe. One of those big, huge blue Chevy SUVs that, excuse me, look like the type of truck that will have, that be usually the Tahoe trucks that will have like one headlight. And I wish I would have saw evidence of that one headlight. And even that white Malibu or whatever that Derek was illegally driving in, fraudulently illegally driving in, and demanding control of every fucking thing. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they fraudulently and illegally drive around with one headlight and Derek can't fucking drive. So for Derek's illegal wife to confront me and bully me and try to falsely make it like as if she lied on me and said that I disrespected Wyatt on his deathbed. Well, okay, if that was true, how come my twin sister didn't rile the family up then? No, she waited till after one more time when she tried to manipulate for me to come stay by her. And that didn't work, and I exposed her in that fake live stream, and that's when she lied to the family. I was not going to give her my phone number because I know she would give it to the fake Darnell Williams perp. So that's why we had to communicate via live stream. And I was disappointed and upset that she didn't tell me much of shit about Wyatt's funeral. Or the funeral or his death or how he died. She didn't say any of that in the live stream. She didn't want to discuss any of that. She kept telling me let go of the past when her and her fake flying monkey cult followers confronting me about stuff I never did. And then simultaneously talk about stop calling people names and stop talking about the past. And that's exactly what she was doing to me. And my twin sister cares nothing about me. She cares nothing about her own damn kids. But she wanted to fake rub it in my face about how she can get along with the family. So, I remember when my twin sister called me up. I think it was 2014. And Kateria probably married Derek for the biological mom's inheritance money. Because I think it was after the biological mom, Frances, passed away. It was after she passed away. And then the biological dad, Arthur, passed away 2 months later. And my twin sister said that the family was mad at Derek. She called me up and I was living in Los Angeles. I didn't even get to go to either parent's funeral either. Mark and Pete made false promises and lied to me and said that they would get me a plane ticket to get me down there. They went AWOL on me. The family didn't want me there at the biological mom Frances' funeral for whatever reason also. And Ramona got mad and yelled at me and hung up in my face during the burial. During the burial time. And then my twin sister tried to pretend to be fake self-righteous and talk about, oh, that was very inappropriate that you called during the funeral. I'm like, well, I didn't even know what time the funeral was or when it was going on. And I was stuck in Los Angeles and nobody really wanted to help me get down there to the funeral. And as rich as my twin sister was, she could have funded me a whole damn round trip. And she knows she could have. But she was too... Even during then, the family would be ignorant and selfish. You know. And then I had the situation with that racist Korean fake church pastor that was a sadistic, cruel, narcissistic perp that made false promises to help me get a round trip to the the biological mom Frances' funeral. And and that was a big mess. And then and I ended up not getting to go to the biological mom Frances' funeral. And then excuse me, I almost got wrongfully arrested for panhandling late at night in downtown Los Angeles, trying to get the funds, trying to raise the funds of for my biological mom's funeral. And then 2 months later, Arthur died, and I almost died on the same day that he died. For everybody to say that's not my dad, because I'm not light-skinned like him. And Wyatt was perping me about that in 2022. And so I didn't have any way to get down for Arthur's funeral, and the family wasn't gonna tell me. Excuse me. And I questioned why. I mean, my post got deleted on the online obituary. It got wrongfully deleted for me to try to question why me and my twin sisters' names were singled out and not put on the obituary. And I figured that the family did that on purpose because of the fake daddy issue. But they're trying to lie and say Arthur's not your daddy because you're not light-skinned like him. So, but then in 2014, my twin sister called me up and said that Derek stole the inheritance, stole all the money that was supposed to be an inheritance from us and split between us. That Derek stole all the inheritance money from the whole family, or supposedly the biological mom Frances left everything to him, and he was falsely glorified as the favorite child, or because she had her moments of which certain kids would be her favorite child. But then me, my twin sister, and Sean, none of us were ever the favorite. But it seemed like there would be periods of Mark being a favorite child, or Ramona being a favorite child, or Derek being a favorite child. And the biological mom was not shy about, letting the world know which child was her favorite. So I heard that Derek stole all the inheritance that the biological mom Frances left, that him and the wife Kateria had. My twin sister called me up and told me this, that he stole all the inheritance from the family, and then he got a new wife and married her. And then because the time adds up, she said she'd been married to him for 10 years. It's 2024. They got married in 2014, and the biological parents passed away in 2013. And so she must have married him for that inheritance. And my twin sister said that they got a brand new SUV and crashed it. They crashed it the first day or something like that. Or crashed as soon as they got it. I don't remember the exact story that she called me up and told me. So, you married into my family for my biological mom's inheritance, and you want to talk about me disrespecting my brother on his deathbed and then bullying me and demanding an apology? And you meddling in my family business? You a damn hypocrite. And then in 2018, I eyewitnessed and ear witnessed Mark telling Wyatt. In 2018, we were at Ramona's apartment, and we were over there, and Mark was saying behind her back, because he would never say it to her face. And he wouldn't treat her like how she treat me. How he would treat me. But Mark kept on saying her name wrong and calling her Katora. And the rest of the family was saying her name wrong too. I guess they were saying Canteria. I didn't realize her name was Kateria. So, Mark kept on saying that, repeatedly saying behind her back, talking about how much he can't stand her and that he hates her and stuff like that. But he would never tell her that to her fucking face. But Mark, he's quiet and don't say much, but he's always talking. And Wyatt was like a very social person. Wyatt and Sean were more outgoing and talk a lot, But Mark is quiet and don't say much or nothing. But Wyatt would always talk bad about people and laugh at him. Mark will always talk bad about people and mock and make fun of and laugh at him and try to have the harshest and most cruel, sadistic words. Mark is one of those type of abusive narcissists that's murderous with his words, just like Darius. That fake T.I. perp Darius. Mark and Darius have a lot of similar ways. And a lot of shit in common. Excuse me. But Darius was trying to say that Mark and Ramona and certain other family members' eyes look dead. Or that their eyes look vacant or whatever. Or, or talking about, and when I try to ask him, when I thought he was a good friend, and he was like, ooh, yeah, Candy. He was trying to talk about Mark and other family members that their eyes look dead. Or that they, and he was saying that Stank Whore Lanika from that Masonic Smelly Crab family, that Lanika's eyes look dead, or that they look vacant, and that she looks like a walking corpse, casket ready. Excuse me. And he would mock and laugh about it, all to turn against me and start defending Lanika and the Crab family and defending my abusive family later on and try to make it like I'm just, full of drama. And that he falsely making like I'm not being targeted. And like, well, after all that targeting evidence that you saw and you refuse to look at it anymore and refuse to support, and then you lie and say that my twin sister is the chosen targeted one while I'm the one that's the perpetrator. So, excuse me, I don't know who threatened Darius and turned him against me. They must have got to him on YouTube. After I, did the video after he got hit by a car. And the stalkers must have put him up to, lying on me and falsely scapegoating me, lying and saying that I caused him to get hit by a car. So, and I did a video trying to tell everybody to keep Darius in your prayers and all that after he got hit by a car. Excuse me, and he, was supportive and nice, and after some time, Darius admitted that he tried to say, I even think I took a deal. And so he let me know that he sold out after getting hit by that car and almost lost his life. And that's what they do to targeted individuals. They set you up to get you incarcerated, or they have a moment where you nearly come close to losing your life, or have a traumatic incident, and they use that to put you in a corner and manipulate for you to sell out and join them. And people ended up being a TI turned perp. And they thought they were going to get me with the jail situation. And then, even before and after Wyatt's death, perps trying to harass me, telling me that I will have a red casket ready for me soon. And they were the online stalkers were threatening me, telling me that, telling me I should share the casket with Wyatt. So, Derek's wife married him, and she married into the family in a disrespectful way. So how can she talk about me she lied on me and said that I talked bad about Wyatt on his deathbed, when I mentioned the family is gang stalkers, and I talked about how they treated me bad and abused me at, Blake and Daryl's funeral. I was abused and treated badly, very poorly by family members. And in 2018, Yvonne got drunk. And I had just come back from the Grand Canyon job and then also being stranded and stuck in Los Angeles and going through hell. And then I went by Yvonne's house that night, and my cousin Deuce, Daryl Jr., started to perp me and started blasting Aaliyah's song back and forth. And she was drunk and talking bad about me to Ramona or whoever else was on the phone, unprovoked for no reason at all. And she was speaking very horribly about me. And it's like, all I said was, look, lady, I never got into an argument with you. I never disrespected you. And then she made jail threats, copied off of the rest of the family members by making jail threats and making threats to have me locked up in a mental institution. And she just talked so horribly and disrespectfully on the phone and acted like she didn't want me there. And it's like I hadn't even done her anything. And then Raymond, my nephew Raymond, came over there. And he picked me up and he was perping me in the car. And was saying stuff on purpose to try to manipulate and trigger me to, like, trying to provoke me on purpose, intentionally trying to provoke me to be mad enough to want to physically assault him. And then he sent for me to go by Ramona's house. And then he tried to make it like, oh, it's common sense. You never argue with a drunk person. Well, I didn't argue with her. I didn't argue with Yvonne. All I said was I never got into an argument with her or disrespected her. And then she showed me the door. And she kept on chanting, you have no family. It was screaming from the top of her lungs saying, you have no family, you have no family, you have no family. In 2018, like at the beginning of my homeless situation, she was yelling at me saying, you have no family, you have no family, you have no family. And I was wondering, what did I do to deserve this, and why is she treating me like this? In 2017, Derek's wife was abusive and mean. And didn't like me. And Derek was treating me mean and avoiding me. I tried to give him like a pie for his birthday. I'm poor and I wasn't homeless at the time, but I was very poor and financially struggling. And during that time, they were taking out all that money away from me. No, I think they reinstated my funds, but I was financially struggling, and all I could give him was, a pie for his birthday. and he threw the pie. He snuck behind my back and threw the pie in the garbage or something, or left it on purpose or something like that. And he treated me mean and didn't want to talk to me and was skirting around and trying to avoid me. And he went to Daryl's funeral with a deceitful looking smile on his face, smiling the whole time. You know, but for Blake's funeral, and Derek was giving me mean looks and looking at me like he was sitting in the car smoking and was giving me mean looks and like he wanted to fight me. It was at the repast after Daryl's funeral for no reason at all. And I was wondering why Derek was treating me mean for no reason, even at Daryl's funeral in April of 2018. And even like certain family members treating me who haven't seen me in years, you know, treating me mean for no reason. Rebecca and Yvonne and all them, they were gaslighting and Daryl too, you know, and they were acting fake and gaslighting me for Blake's funeral and the repast. And then Derek at the funeral for Blake's funeral, he voluntarily walked up to me and hugged me. But then at the repast, Derek was acting all fake and gaslighting me and stuff like that. And pretending like he thought he was better and trying to avoid me. And, you know, in 2014, in 2015, I tried to contact certain family members because I was gone in Los Angeles and my twin sister was telling a lot of lies and slandering me to my family. And when the biological mom, Frances, passed away, I did not have a phone and contacted her through email. And because, like, I think it was the month of our birthday in 2013, before our birthday, my twin sister got mad at me and performed a voodoo or witchcraft spell to have my phone to electronically burn my ear, and then nearly exploded in my face, and my phone broke in a supernatural way. And it could have been direct energy weapons also, you know, when me and her got into an argument. Oh, and I don't remember what the argument was about. And in 2012, 13, and 14, my twin sister was extra abusive towards me over the phone. Very abusive. And she becomes the most abusive and try to be like a man. You know, try to be the most abusive the closer it is to our birthday. Or she would pick an argument with me for or a fight on purpose for an excuse to justify not talking to me and ignoring me for our birthday. So right now my phone is alerting me saying that it's 6:49 a.m. in the morning, and my phone is alerting me that it's 80% of rain. And it says a wet start to the weekend with a good chance for showers and isolated thunderstorms. I couldn't see the rest of the message. I gotta use the bathroom. I'm back. So I guess it's a way to try to make me shut up and make me stop talking. The perps just hit me with direct energy weapons, and they partially succeeded at force urinating me. Again, I just suddenly and randomly had to emergency go pee. So, but excuse me. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, if it weren't for Derek's inheritance money, or if it weren't for Hurricane Katrina and Derek living in Texas, I bet you, you know, he probably wouldn't even know who Kateria is, or, you know, he probably wouldn't even know who she is. And then, now the biological dad, Arthur, died 2 months and 5 days after the biological mom, Frances. And the family was mad at Yolanda for stealing or taking all the inheritance money that was supposed to be equally split between all of us. And in 2018, shortly after Daryl's funeral, excuse me, shortly after Daryl's funeral, my cousin Blake's dad, drunk lady Yvonne's husband, Daryl, you know, it was shortly after he passed away, and Mark and Ramona try to manipulate and use me and take advantage of me, and financially use and take advantage of me, and they treat me like I'm not family, but they held me responsible for putting ornaments and things up. I mean, they held me responsible for having the money that I barely had. When they get more money than me, Mark, you got a whole fucking car. You know, and your job pays you good enough, excuse me, that you don't even have to rely on food stamps and stuff. Now you can maintain a car and a place to live. You know, don't have to worry about taking public bus transportation. And if you freaking set for good and don't know what it's like to suffer being homeless. I mean, Mark never had to suffer homelessness, and Ramona never had to suffer homelessness. I don't think Pete ever had to. I could be wrong, but I don't think Pete ever had to suffer being homeless. Monica and Raymond, well, I don't know about Raymond, but Monica has never had to suffer being homeless. Drunk lady Yvonne has never had to suffer being homeless. I don't think Blake even had to suffer being homeless when he was alive. But Wyatt was supposedly homeless. I didn't realize he was. I mean, I heard about him being homeless off and on. But, you know, so in 2018, when Mark and Ramona were gossiping and discussing in front of my face, mad about Yolanda, saying that Yolanda and her daughter, which was my niece Brittany, you know, the biological half sister Yolanda and her daughter. I mean, Yolanda is off the Arthur's side of the family. And so oh, and guess what? The biological sister Belinda was in my dream this morning as well. And I'm like, I never really even had any dreams about her. And she was talking to me, you know, in the dream. Ramona was nowhere to be found, but Belinda was alive and talking to me in the dream. Before the rest of the family kicked me out of the house in the dream. Like as if they wanted me to relive or re-experience through a dream of me being kicked out of a place. Oh, damn. Hold on. I had to switch MP3 players. This is the last freaking one that I have left. I don't have the money to get any more. The other one just completely died on me. Excuse me. So, like in the car that day, and Mark was fraudulently and illegally driving. I just remember it was a white car. Excuse me, but I don't remember what kind of car it was. I just remember seeing like Mark stays with a white car nowadays. But a lot of family members would have red cars and purple with the red. My twin sister even had a red car and was purple with a red car. Monica had a red vehicle. Rebecca's had red vehicles. A lot of her family members off of her dad's side of the family, they all got like red cars. And now they got certain family members, even the underage kids in the family, walking around with Masonic fake red hair and fake braids and stuff. But they laughed at and looked down on me and my twin sister for years about being the foster mom forcing us into that fake ID Mara cult. But when you become a gang stalker, that's a damn cult as well. And Freemasonry and all that. Excuse me. So, excuse me. So I remember, that day when Mark and Ramona tried to use and take advantage of me in April of 2018, visiting the family member's resting place. And even before Wyatt died, I had the desire to want to go to to visit the biological family member's resting place. But I couldn't remember the address. Excuse me. And so, excuse me. And so, like, they try to use me for the money for to put ornaments on the biological mom Frances resting place. And they said that she didn't even really have a tombstone. But Ramona was trying to tell me over the phone that the biological mom Frances, that she paid off all her debts before passing away, and that she didn't want to be a burden on anyone, And I thought the biological mom Frances was so financially poor, and excuse me, after we turned 18, I financially struggled really hard and going suffering with no money. The foster mom was rich and was stealing my. She was rich and still stealing my money. That fake foster mom, Adrian Felder. And the biological dad, Arthur. Only like once or twice he gave me $20. That's the only times he ever did anything for me. Like, definitely once, but probably twice. And it was shortly after I reunited with the biological family. They have a lot of family members who never did shit for me. But I was doing a lot for the family when I had. And my good deeds weren't really appreciated. Who's the ungrateful one here? You know, and if they did do something for me, it would be something that's like extremely cheap and stingy, or nothing at all. And people with narcissistic personalities, they do generous for everybody else in front of the victim's face and do little to nothing for the victim. And then the very little bit that they do, they try to antagonize by giving you something very tiny or very cheap. And if you say something about it, how they treat outsiders way better than you, then they want to give narcissistic lectures talking about that you're ungrateful. And playing psych games, you know. People in narcs in general. So yeah, when Mark and Ramona try to use and take advantage of me and hold me responsible for the money to put ornaments on the biological mom Frances, with the last little bit of money that I had, they didn't even pitch in. They wanted me to come up with all the funds for the balloons and everything else. Excuse me. And then it was me, Wyatt, Sean, Ramona, and Mark all in the car. And we went to visit, you know, the biological family's resting place shortly after Daryl died. It was maybe a week or two after he died. I mean, after the funeral, I guess. And, excuse me. And so then I think Wyatt got out of the car and went somewhere. And we were parked somewhere. And Mark was waited till after Wyatt got out of the car to talk bad about him smelling bad and stinking so much. And talking about that him smelling so bad that's evil. That Wyatt smelled so bad or he stunk so bad that it's evil. But Mark, they be having moments where people do not stink at all. And Mark will falsely accuse you of smelling bad because he know he's freaking gay with AIDS. And then sitting there wanting to project and call everybody else filthy or dirty or unsanitary some kind of way. You know, he will always, you know, and now my twin sister had been, you know, recently associated with someone, Tiara, that does not want her. And like, how is my twin sister chasing after an HIV patient? I mean, you chasing after an HIV patient that doesn't want you, but you think you're better than me. So and in the car that day, you know, it was after we were on our way back to Ramona's house, I guess. Because Mark and Wyatt came to visit a couple of weeks after Daryl's funeral. And I tried to treat the family out with pizza and frozen yogurt. And they didn't appreciate that, or they didn't really care, you know. And I had a small little job, part-time job at the time, and, you know, And when Wyatt and I had my apartment at the time, and when Wyatt and Mark secretly came in town, and neither one of them were gonna call me up and tell me, "Hey, Candy, we're in town." They wanted to be secretive away from me. And that's why I said Wyatt was part of the dirty shit too. Excuse me. That they secretly came in town and then weren't gonna tell me. And then Mark called me up and told me, "We in town, girl," like as if he was still bitter and hateful, like as if he was still bitter after so many years. And I even try to share certain music for them to listen to, and they acted like they had an attitude about that. So, but Mark never really treated me like family. And him pretending to be fake nice, he would either use and take advantage of my money, or he would be trying to be fishing for information, demand the answer for my personal business, and then be like, "Oh, Candy, you tell all your business." Like, you barely, we brother and sister, but you don't know me that well. You don't know my whole life story. You only know the lies you've been fed about me. Excuse me. And so, like, in the car in 2018, Mark and Ramona were gossiping and talking about, they were complaining about Yolanda and Brittany stealing Arthur's inheritance. And I said, "Well, what about Derek stealing the biological mom Frances' inheritance from all of us?" And they were like, "Oh, that is old, that is old, that is old news, that is over with. We ain't even thinking about that." And they said with a harsh attitude. And I'm like, "Well, how was Derek in the right for doing that? He did the same thing Yolanda did." But they were mad at Yolanda. And so I mean, yeah, they didn't care about Derek stealing from the family, but they were mad at Yolanda. And Brittany took Arthur's inheritance money that was supposed to be split between us, and she is running like a successful hair care business with that, with Masonic, and the place of business had Masonic checkerboard floors. Like, is my family really Masonic for real? But Monica and her daughter Malia and the rest of the family, I cannot believe my family is Masonic. I mean, and so the family treated me very mean. Like in 2007, I was living in Denton, Texas, and being extremely depressed. After leaving New York, I got over dealing with a suicide attempt in New York. A suicide attempt in New York. And Mark and the biological mom Frances lured me to Denton, Texas. And Mark was taking advantage of my money and using me and stuff, and you trying to parasitically drain me out of every penny and stealing from me and doing all kinds of crooked, fucked up things to me. And then he was keeping tabs on me, and he would be gone away from the apartment, or he was living in a townhouse, in Denton, Texas, and he wanted me to be wrongfully forced, punished, and isolated in Denton for so many years. And, and Mark just wanted to be either fishing for information or wanting to know about my personal life, but won't tell me anything about his own personal life. And he would be away from the house for a whole week and then call me up and tell me, like, as if he got secret cameras watching everything I do, to know how many bowls of cereal that I ate, or to know how many baths I took. And Pete, living with Pete, it was the same thing. If Pete would be gone to work all day from like 4 o'clock in the morning all the way to 11 o'clock at night, and then come home drinking alcohol and getting drunk and physically abuse and beat on his girlfriend, Willie Mae. And then, it's like Derek, Pete, and my twin sister, they look like the 3 woman beaters in the family. And then Ramona was a freaking man beater. And I think I heard Monica would physically abuse and beat on boyfriends too. And then the biological sister Ramona, she waited till after both parents died to make it like as if the biological dad Arthur would get drunk and physically abuse and beat on the biological mom Frances. Which I didn't know anything about that. Or that the biological dad Arthur was an alcoholic. Excuse me. And Wyatt's girlfriend Toya, that my twin sister and Blake, the girl that almost the whole damn family except for me took turns with the same young female that was from the fake IDMR called Toya. Excuse me. I mean, if Blake, my twin sister, and Wyatt, all 3 of them have had their moments where they were with Toya from the fake cult Bible class. LaToya Thomas from the fake cult Bible class. So, excuse me. So, I mean, when Toya was with Wyatt, I think it wasn't until we got to Milwaukee after Hurricane Katrina and she was physically abused and beat on Wyatt. And then she would keep Wyatt isolated. But then my twin sister's husband, Dwayne, was supposedly... Well, my twin sister started physically abusing and beating on Dwayne, and then it backfired, and then he started physically abusing and beating on her later on. So, damn, what time is it? I'm getting more rain alerts on my phone. Excuse me. Yeah. Mm. All my hair, everything itching. So, oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah. So I don't try to do one eye symbolism or any of that on purpose or anything like it's not intentional. Excuse me. So and I have nobody to support me or really listen to me or really care to hear me out. And then so many people have betrayed me and turned fake. You know. But yeah. But I mean, and then nobody told me about Yolanda's death in 2022. She died on Wyatt's birthday. And I don't know how she died or what she died of in 2022. And then for Wyatt's obituary, Yolanda or the other sisters off of Arthur's side of the family, the other half sisters, um, the other half sisters, Yolanda and Samuetta, and I think they supposedly an adopted half sister named Tangi or something that I've been hearing about. And I never ever met Samuetta, but I saw Yolanda for a few times, and Yolanda was never nice. And because Ramona and them put that lie in their heads, to make them not want to associate with me. And Brittany used to love me when she was a teenager, but then she got a certain age, and they thought Arthur was dying in 2019. I mean 2009. I think it was 2009, and then Brittany got hateful and turned against me and cut off all contact with me. You know, and Brittany used to support me, even though we didn't say much to each other. But that was the biological half sister's daughter, so my half niece or whatever, you know, and excuse me, and so like none of the like Yolanda or Samuetta, none of their names were mentioned on Wyatt's obituary. But then for Arthur's death and funeral, like they excluded me and my twin sister's name, but named everybody else. And I figured, oh, this was a family conspiracy. They did this shit on purpose. And then every time there's a death in the family, you know, that we know about, then my twin sister, you know, what, like, for the biological mom, Frances, and Blake and Wyatt's funeral, she tried to deliberately and on purpose entangle me into and manipulate me into arguing with her. So she picked an argument with me after Blake, you know, after Blake got shot and killed, and she called me up and told me, oh no, she text messaged me and her weren't on speaking terms, and she text messaged me about it. Excuse me. And me and her got into an argument, and she lied on me and said that, you know, for revenge after the argument, she didn't even attend Blake's funeral, but she lied and said that I looked over Blake's casket and said, good, I'm glad he's dead. If that was the case, I mean, nobody jumped me or beat me up or confronted me or anything like that, as the family already hated me and were treating me mean, excuse me, at Blake's funeral. Gaslighting me and treating me mean. And then for Wyatt's funeral, my twin sister rubbing it in my face about how all the family treated her nice and loved her and were happy to see her and stuff. Like, so after the family treated me mean for so many years, now they feel like I'm disgraced and permanently banned from the family. The family thought I was stupid and wasn't going to find out that, oh, they're all satanic perps. And so when I took to social media to talk about them being part of the gang stalking, in which a lot of targeted individuals, either their whole family is being gang stalked, or they're the lone single one being targeted by the rest of the family and everybody else. So they even have kids being targeted, but you don't really see kids really in the TI community. And you hear about kids getting V2K and the directed energy weapons and nosebleeds and stuff like that, you know. And the kids that are too young to verbalize being attacked, or the animals and the pets that can't even verbalize being attacked. Or targeted individuals will talk about how their dogs go missing, how their pets were having seizures and vomiting due to directed energy weapons and stuff. You know, if you're targeted and have to live with a family member that's perping the shit out of you, and you got to deal with it every doggone day. If you're dealing with a family member that's perping and gaslighting you, excuse me, and you're living with them, but they're stealing from you. Mark was stealing from me in 2007 when I stayed by there. And he didn't tell me, he wanted to, him and Pete conspired together over the phone when I stayed by Pete. And Mark was talking about, oh, when she was over by my house in 2007, her ass was stinking. You know, like, well, they both talking horribly about me in front of my face. Oh, but Pete was talking to him over the phone. And I would take a shower just about every day. And Pete, well, and Mark, they were lying, say that I wasn't showering. And they made up a bunch of lies about me, you know. But Mark is living with, you know, HIV or full-blown AIDS. And was trying to, and my twin sister even told me over the phone that Mark was trying to give me his AIDS on purpose. I'm like, well, I've been warning you and trying to tell you. You know, she waited till after she got mad at him and they got into that fight where he ended up going to jail. And he forgave her and ain't still mad at her. But they're going to stay mad at me forever, and I'm wrongfully banned from the family for the rest of my life because I took to social media and wrote in ebooks that my family members gang stalked me. And I was generally speaking, you know, that my family gang stalked me. not that I have no one to turn to. They were mad at me off the first ebook, and wanted talking about wanting to sue me, and I hadn't even mentioned any family members' names in that ebook. In which, hold up, sorry, I'm not even looking at the camera, and I'm sitting here. My ears are itching. Some people said that it's a normal symptom of like when you in your late 30s or early 40s and before menopause, that's a symptom of your ears itching so much. And they say it's a part of aging or something like that. Um, yeah. I am. So, Mark, I caught him in the act, and God must have been protecting me because Mark, like, there would be a time when I would shave my pelvis and shave my genital area and my underarms and my legs and stuff with the razor, and then for me to try to save money or whatever, because I didn't have much because Mark was taking it all. I would try to save the same razor to use for another time. Excuse me. And then I would um you know and so I caught Mark in the act of you know shaving with my razor, and then try to gaslight and lie and say, oh, I thought it was mine. No, you know damn well it's a pink razor. How could it be yours? It's a whole woman's pink razor. And you know that's not your razor. And he made himself bleed on purpose, hoping that I would be stupid and use the razor again and catch AIDS from him. But I busted him in the act. And after a while, I mean, he did that to me with my toothbrush also. Brushing his teeth with my toothbrush on purpose. And his teeth would bleed. And he was hoping I would be stupid. And I busted him in the act. So after that, I no longer left toothbrushes and razors laying around. Excuse me. But Mark would go and go and snoop through my belongings and steal my money and steal all of it, and then try to gaslight me. Even before Hurricane Katrina, Mark would always be stealing from me, and Ramona would be stealing from me or trying to steal from me. And then try to weaponize mental health, and then Mark would try to wait till I'm at my lowest psychologically, mentally, and emotionally, or wait till after a suicide attempt to try to take advantage of my money. And Mark lied to the people at the mental institution in Fake Denton, Texas. He lied to those people and set me up, and he was the mastermind and he was the cause behind why those 6 men rough handled me. He lied on me, and he was the mastermind behind why those 6 men rough handled me, and 6 football player sized men rough handled me and tortured me for hours in a mental hospital, and were trying to murder me. And that might have been Mark trying to blood sacrifice me then, during that suicide attempt. Excuse me. So, excuse me. It's like my family had never been any good towards me. And I was so depressed in 2007 and had suicide attempts. Even before the suicide attempts, I didn't realize, it was all the witchcraft and family abuse. And Mark and my twin sister want me force medicated on psych meds so that they can lower my inhibitions and take advantage of me more, and so I can't fight back. And the family felt threatened. They feel threatened by me no longer being on psychiatric medications. And then, they might, and my twin sister mentioned talking about the foster mom and the foster sister Shelly got life insurance policies taken out on us. But that's not verified to be true, But I forgot where I heard it from. Excuse me, but somebody said something about my twin sister got life insurance policy taken out on me, but I don't know about, I'm not even sure or remember where I heard that from. And then when it was before Hurricane Katrina, and Monica was pregnant with little Randy. And she would laugh and make jokes in front of my face. Told me, I'm about to take out a life insurance policy, Mama. Telling her mom, the biological sister Ramona, Monica would try to make jokes and talk about, in front of me, she would make jokes talking about how she's going to take out life insurance policy and then laugh about it. And so in 2018, it was before Daryl died. And I think it was that New Year's Day when I went to visit by Yvonne and Daryl's house. The biological aunt, drunk lady Yvonne, and Daryl, the uncle Daryl, uncle by marriage, uncle-in-law, whatever. Excuse me, and Yvonne was trying to lecture me about how I should take out life insurance policy so that nobody will have to be responsible for paying for my death. And so I figured she was perping me with that. Now, I'm young. Why would I? And it's like I can't even afford. And she tried to make there is no excuse for me to not take out my own life insurance policy. And I hear about in the targeted individual community about identity theft and life insurance policies. And and blood sacrifices and stuff, And so to cover up and scapegoat, they try to make it excuse me, they try to make it as if to try to cover up and scapegoat, they try to make it as if you're crazy, and they would, try to set you up to get shot and killed by the police. Masonic, satanic sellout black family members, they would try to make it you got a mental problem, and they will make jail threats or threats to get you locked up in a mental institution and try to set you up to get shot and killed by the police, so that they can take out. So that so that they, that's the justification for the life insurance policies and stuff. But yeah, I also was a victim of identity theft. That I was 18 years old, and they had it on false record that I was incarcerated, and when I wasn't, and I couldn't get the fake medical transportation for the fake mental health psychiatrist appointments, and the fake foster mom Adrian Felder was upset that she felt like she had to be responsible for taking me back and forth to the fake mental health appointments when I was going to Nichols State University, going to the first college. And then I also found out that someone, I don't know who it was, had had life insurance. I mean, I'm sorry, that they had Dillard's credit cards and something else I don't remember, but Dillard's credit cards taken out in my name. I never in my entire life had a Dillard's credit card. So I never had a Dillard's credit card, and I don't know who that was that had a Dillard's credit card in my name. Excuse me. So, and you hear about hood parents, ghetto hood parents that will, have bad credit and then put phone bills in their children's name, and the child grows up with their credit ruined because the parent, was using the child's identity. But my twin sister would tell me about how the foster sister Shelly would illegally claim us on income taxes, and I think I saw papers laying on, I saw papers laying around in 2006 after Hurricane Katrina that the foster sister Shelly did have, she did have, she did have my name as a dependent for income tax. And I saw my name and her son Ryan's name. And then my twin sister said that Toya's sister Jalinda and the mom Miss Lisa, were using our names and claiming us of all people. I don't know if my twin sister was lying or telling the truth about that. But she was trying to say that they were claiming us on the income taxes, or that Jalinda was illegally claiming my twin sister's daughter Raven on income taxes or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, in 2007, speaking of stuff laying around a table, I saw that Mark had a business card laying around on a table that said AIDS Services of North Texas. Excuse me. And Wyatt told me, like, in 2007 that he had a moment where he tried to tell me that Mark had to go to the emergency room. He said that Mark had to go to the emergency room. Excuse me. And he said that basically, he said Mark had to go to the emergency room for a simple cold or something like that. And he basically was making it like as if the doctors had to put on hazmat suits to take care of Mark. And he was like, oh, that's how you know the AIDS is real or whatever. But it was that Kraft family was the one found out before we did and told us when I was in 8th grade, and certain Kraft family members were the ones they told us about, and then it was the gossiping. They were gossiping amongst the foster family members. The foster mom and the foster Aunt Mickey and them were gossiping and talking about Mark being gay with AIDS. And then Mark trying to intentionally infect me. But, as of 2021 or 2020, or maybe it was 2022, was the last time I checked myself, and I'm HIV negative. But God must have been protecting me each and every time. But I mean, yeah, like Mark would use his disease, to project onto other people and try to make it like, oh, you're nasty, you stink or whatever. But you're the one who got the damn disease. In which I heard that there are supposedly natural cures for that too, but the government wants to try to cover it up. And has, you know, murdered, killed whoever would have the solution to natural cures that the government wants to lie and say is incurable. Excuse me. Like the government, because of their depopulation and them wanting us dead, they will lie and say that there's no cure for diabetes and cancer and stuff. And which kind of find out people have reversed and cured diabetes with simply coconut oil. Or they've been able to reverse cancer and stuff like that. Excuse me. So yeah, like me and Wyatt got into a heated argument because like when I questioned about why Mark had the business card laying on a table that said AIDS Services of North Texas, and me and Wyatt got into an argument, and he tried to lecture me and say, you got some serious explaining to do. Well, Mark would copy off the fake foster family. He would copy off the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, by trying to after we were adults and living with Mark would try to use us as cleanup slaves. And be just bossy, narcissistic, and controlling, and dishing out orders, telling people what to do. Mark would not even care about having any company with me, but he would come to my house, my apartment, when I had it, after I got my own place. He would come to my house and be like, "Ew, Candy, you need to open these windows. I don't like the fucking windows open because of the flies getting in." So he was like, "Oh, Candy, you need to open these windows," and illegally take it upon himself to trample over and disrespect my house, smoke in my house when I said do not smoke in my apartment. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. See, they hit me with weapons. When I would say do not smoke in my house, and they would disrespectfully smack food and smoke cigarettes. Him and Wyatt was smack food, or Mark would smoke cigarettes. Wyatt didn't smoke cigarettes. But, they would, disrespect my apartment, And Mark would try to dish out orders telling me what to do and treat me like I'm still a child. Mark think he got the fake authority to tell me I'm not allowed to drink alcohol. Copying off the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder. You acting like the very same abusers. Mark acting like Mildred from the fake foster family, and Shelley and the foster mom, Adrian Felder. Mark trying to act like all three of them. Mark trying to copy off of Mildred with that fake persona of being so-called stuck up. Mark hung around Mildred so much and tried to idolize and worship her and copy her personality. And my twist was to copy the personality of the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, and copy the foster brother Joe and the foster cousin James personality, and the biological brother Derek. Like Mark and Brandy, they don't even have their own freaking identity. They're so busy trying to copy other people's personality and being fake as fuck. Excuse me. The foster mom brainwashed us and try to mold us to think and be just like her. But I broke away from it and try to undo my own programming and just think for myself and have my own personality. My own way of doing things. So, excuse me, you know, and excuse me, and Mark would do evil stuff like snoop through all of my snoop through all of my snoop through my all of my computer activity when I had a laptop. He would come over to my house just to snoop through my computer and then go visit gay porn websites and put all kinds of viruses on my computer and probably putting tracking wear on my computer and stuff. And put all kinds of viruses on my computer. And he would know all of my internet activity and run back and tell the biological mom, Frances, everything. Or the biological mom, Frances, would call me up and be like, well, Mark said you had this and that for breakfast. I'm like, how do y'all even, like, so Mark would try to call me up and keep tabs on me and then hurry up and rush off the phone within less than 45 seconds. Keep tabs on me for control. Mark is another family member that basically ain't never did shit for me. I mean, I'm talking about how the whole family did me fucking dirty throughout the years. And now I'm a disgrace because I take to social media that all of my family is gang stalkers. And that they've been participating in gang stalking me. And Mark is 50 years old and still fucking immature. 50, almost 51 and still damn immature. But they falsely glorify him as mature, but he's sneaky, and they try to falsely glorify him as being mature and smart with common sense, just because he's quiet and don't say much or nothing. But he's very sneaky and wicked. Excuse me. And Mark is into that voodoo and that witchcraft too. Burning incense. Idolizing and worshiping satanic slut whore Beyonce. And they try to mold Rebecca to be like the whore Beyonce of this mentally slow, crazy biological family. And Rebecca is like another Lanika from that Kraft family with that whoredom. Or maybe Rebecca might have changed her ways after so many years, because I'm talking about when she was younger, you know, she was another Lanika with underage slutting around. But they think they're better than me. And Rebecca's with the satanic shit too. Drunk Lady Yvonne having that Masonic red hair. Like they had Masonic blue for Blake's funeral. Excuse me, I heard sometimes they would use blue. Like what they had fake blue wigs and blue clothes for Blake's funeral. And Rebecca was in complete disguise. And I passed by her numerous times. And she just, every time and she was standing and she would get an attitude or a smoke every time I passed by. And I looking all over, where's Rebecca? Where's Rebecca? At Blake's funeral. And like, they did not want me at Blake's funeral. They treated me mean for Blake's funeral and Daryl's funeral. I didn't even want to go to Daryl's funeral. And on New Year's of 2018, Daryl was abusive and verbally cruel towards me for no reason at all. 3 months later, he died. I didn't want to go to his fucking funeral. But I think I remember it was Ramona, you know, manipulating me to feel like it's my responsibility to go. And then, I do not know how our lives would have turned out if we would have never been taken away and put in foster care. And put in that cult. Gang stalking and Freemasonry are cult networks. Excuse me. So, I'm glad to finally been able to vent. Nobody wants to freaking listen to me, even in my live streams. So, I will try to talk some more, but I'm going to go to breakfast before it gets too late and they're trying to force urinate me again. So, I'll be back.